Namaskar and welcome to NFL Masala. I'm your co-host Anant.
And I am your wonderful co-host Rakshak of your two-time Super Bowl 59 Philadelphia Eagles champs, Rakshak. Welcome to season 3, episode 36 of NFL Masala, where we talk about all the latest happenings in the NFL with a little bit of spice, but a ton of inner excellence. Make sure you check this out on your local bookstores. How are you doing today, Anand? It's been a while.
Yeah. It took me 2 weeks to register what happened in the Super Bowl. I'm still not over it. Goddamn Eagles.
Hey, you know what? It could have been.
At least now I don't have to pay attention to the bet.
What was the bet?
That I had to be an Eagles fan until, they finished.
Oh yeah.
Remember that?
Oh, basketball upset, I think. Well, no, technically not an upset, but Kansas, their basketball program, which has been like super good. They just lost to my school, number 10 Texas Tech, baby.
Wow, let's go. Okay.
Anyone that can beat KU and Duke, I'm perfectly happy with that.
Mm-hmm.
But I know. So what do we have in store today?
So today we are going to be recapping what happened in the Super Bowl.
Spoiler alert,
59.
the Eagles won. Spoiler alert, the Eagles won.
If you can see Rakshak, you will know what happened. If you can see Rakshak, you will know what happened. We will go over some Dhamakedar news. And then we're going to talk about a little thing called the team draft. If you guys don't remember, go check it out. It was during the beginning of this season, and it was team draft 2.0, since we were bringing that nugget on from last year. It was basically this time it was 4 participants: Rakshak, myself, Cozy, and Varun. And we had picked a couple of different teams, 8 teams each, and then we were graded on those teams' performance based on how many wins and losses, and based on their records, based on their playoff appearances and victories, and based off any sort of special performers that they had who won the any sort of an award. So we're going to talk about the results of that team draft and any punishment we would like to come up with for the loser. And then we're going to finish off with some off-season expectations for both of our teams, what we think each team should do in the free agency and in the draft. So, without further ado, let's get started with some Dhamakedar news. First bit, Matthew Stafford. There were rumors that he was going to be traded out of Los Angeles Rams and to the Raiders and the Giants. Honestly, I don't think that would have been a viable option for him, considering that both teams suck and both teams' offensive lines suck a lot more than the Rams. Neither teams have Sean McVay, and neither teams just won their division in a weak division and nearly defeated the Super Bowl champions in the Eagles in the playoffs. So I think the Rams, or if Stafford sticking with the Rams after restructuring the last 2 years of his contract, is honestly a no-brainer. It's a no-brainer for me. So he's there now. And he's probably going to be setting some more records next year. He's only 191 yards shy, so like one game of 60,000 career passing yards, which only 9 other quarterbacks have achieved. So this would be another feather in his cap for a potential Hall of Fame ballot. We shall see. If he can win another Super Bowl ring, it might be that he might get into the Hall of Fame via Eli Manning-esque, Eli Manning's route. So What do you think about this? Do you think he should have stayed with LA?
I mean, if he was being offered, I mean, it depends upon like what LA would be. Like the fact that he took a restructured deal and he's sticking with the Rams, I could see the potential reasons like why, because they already have like a set offense, and plus with Puka Nakua, I mean Cooper Kupp being gone, but you have the emergence of Puka and Tutu, the Puka Tutu combo, and the fact that their defense, I mean the combo of Jared Verse and Braden Fisk, like holy god, I mean. They can definitely be good. They can definitely be contenders. They're not tanking, and the fact that they're taking draft picks very seriously instead of going all in, good stuff. I like it.
Yeah. Alrighty, what's up next?
So with that, speaking of the Rams, we what's our favorite mantra that we like to say? Build through the trenches. Remember, if you chant this mantra 3 times, regardless if it's for offense or defense, good things are bound to happen.
You will build a perfect team.
And yes, this was on February 28th. The LA Rams and offensive tackle Alaric Jackson, they have agreed to a 3-year, $57 million contract with $37 million guaranteed. Sources told Jeremy Fowler on Friday. He was slated to enter free agency, but instead he's going to protect Matt Stafford. And the fact that, and he did start 14 games last season. He was suspended for the first 2 games with that personal conduct policy. And he was inactive for the season finale after the Rams clinched the NFC West. But he was tied for the 26th best pass blocking grade among all offensive linemen, 79.2. And graded 20th among all offensive tackles in 2024, according to PFF. He was playing on a 1-year deal, so having him stay for another additional 3 years did really work out. And oh my goodness, we have breaking the Makidar news. This is from the NFL Combine, and we were just talking about this. According to Ian Rappaport, the San Francisco 49ers are open to trading away. I can't believe I'm saying this. They're open to trading away Deebo Samuel and Brandon Ayuk. What the hell is going on?
I'm here. I'm here for the downfall of the 49ers.
Me too, but make this make sense. Why are they going for that type of move?
I don't know. Maybe because this is a decent wide receiver draft and they're trying to, could they be potential buyers in the T. Higgins market?
Could be T. Higgins, or maybe you go and draft and get someone like a Matthew Golden or Isaiah Bond in the draft.
Right. Or they could be in line with Luther Burden because they have a high enough pick. I don't know. If they do trade for Brandon Ayuk, if they do trade Brandon Ayuk to another team, it would probably be a first round pick. Maybe a first round this year and probably like a second or third round next year. It depends on the trade deal, but no, that's surprising.
Yeah, definitely.
Alrighty. Next up. So we all know that Aaron Rodgers is not going to be returning to the Jets. He's technically just a free agent quarterback now. So because Matthew Stafford has now retained or remained with the LA Rams, it seems that the New York Giants are going to be targeting Aaron Rodgers in their search for veteran QB.
Interesting.
I don't see it. I mean, Aaron Rodgers was decent, but he wasn't what they expected in New Jersey. And, with the amount of ineptitude that the Jets had in terms of the offensive line problems, it just compounded the failure of the Aaron Rodgers experiment. I don't know what the Giants are thinking in terms of bringing in Aaron Rodgers. I mean, you're not going to be successful if you bring him in and you don't have a good offensive line. which the Giants do not. The Giants, besides maybe one tackle and maybe a center, do not have a good offensive line. They have to build in those trenches. And I'm just honestly, I'd rather them try and target someone like, well, Sam Darnold is also going to be an option. Russell Wilson is also considered to be an option. But amongst all three, I would probably see if I can trade for Justin Fields. Right?
Justin Fields to the Giants.
Steelers. Exactly. Bring in Justin Fields. Who's the head coach for the Giants?
Brian Daboll.
Brian Daboll has some success with dealing with mobile QBs and Josh Allen. Now, I'm not saying Justin Fields can perform like Josh Allen, but he's worked with mobile QBs before, QBs who can use their rushing ability in a non-escapability factor, right? As an actual weapon for the defenses to keep in mind, right? Just like how Jalen Hurts has showed that he can do in the Super Bowl. So I think that he would be a much better, much cheaper target. Like you can sign Justin Fields to like a 2-year, $30 million contract, $40 million contract, more than what you could, more easily than what you would have to pay for Aaron Rodgers or Sam Darnold or Russell Wilson. I think it's just a better, deal to go after Justin Fields. Now they already signed Drew Lock to be their backup for 1 year, $5 million deal. He's not a starter, but if he's going to be there for a 1 year, $5 million deal, maybe you trade for Justin Fields and you sign him to like a 1 year, $10 million deal, just like how Sam Darnold got a contract last year from the Vikings, right? You get Justin Fields, you use the high draft pick that you have this time and get an offensive lineman like either Will Campbell or Kelvin Banks, offensive tackle, right? And then use your entire draft to rebuild that offensive line, get some more offensive weapons. Then you could, really try and compete for a couple of games next year. And, potentially have a much better QB draft next year. So I don't know. I don't really see them signing an old Aaron Rodgers or Russell Wilson at this point and being successful. It just seems like a last ditch grab.
Fair enough. And the last bit of news is that yes, this is the time that the NFL free agency technically begins from Feb 18th to March 4th. From that period, Feb 18th to March 4th, this is where the franchise tags can be placed on what they need to do before the new league starts on March 12th. So, what is the franchise tag? Basically, it's a designation teams can apply to a player's schedule to become an unrestricted free agent. It binds a player to a team for 1 season. Basically, it's like tag. You're going to be with us for 1 additional year. And they're based on the top 5 salaries at each position. For this time, the Chiefs are the first to start the tags, and they've tagged their guard Trey Smith, aka the guy who him and his co-lineman Creed Humphrey tried to double team Jalen Carter, but couldn't do jack shit in the Super Bowl. I have to put that, but I think like the reason why he was tagged, the Chiefs, I mean, of course, they struggled to protect Mahomes, no mood, and they could not let this guy, a 25-year-old kid, get away. And despite concerns of like that blood clot disorder, he was very durable. And he was the top among guards in pass block win rate in each of his first 3 NFL seasons before finishing 13th in 2024. He had the best run block win rate of his career last season with 75.1%, 6th among best guards. And I mean, this is a good move by the Chiefs. They definitely needed to do that. After all, if they end up facing the Eagles again in the Super Bowl and they know that their sorry asses are going to get demolished again, they have to do what they got to do. But anyway, it's not good. But this is where my unbiased version comes true. No,
Oh, right. Yeah, unbiased.
No. This is where I think Eagles Ruckchuck takes over and says, "Who gives a flying shit? You fucking lost. You don't deserve to be tagged, motherfucker." Oh, I'm going off, and I'm going no holds barred. No one is not, and anyone but the Chiefs and any naysay. Oh boy, I'm gonna be. I don't know how I feel, man, but it's good. It's good. What are your
I'm
thoughts?
just letting you have the floor. I'm just like sitting silently and just watching you roast people. I know you're going to be roasting my team anyways. At this point, there's nothing you can really say other than Jalen Hurts is a scrub who doesn't deserve the Super Bowl. You know, he doesn't deserve to be I think he's a Super Bowl MVP. Right, he is a Super Bowl MVP. We'll get into that in a little bit. But yeah, dumbest award ever given to him. He's just gonna be Russell Wilson at this point.
Okay, but anyway, that's what I got. But so what do we gotta talk about on?
Well, I mean, like you said, we're gonna have to talk about the Super Bowl where the Eagles wallop the Chiefs 40-22.
Guess who I'm bringing out, baby? You know him as your Super Bowl MVP.
Dumb.
MVP. Guess what? Jalen Hurts. This is where I'm gonna go off hinge. Did you know Jalen Hurts has a ring over Baker Mayfield, Josh Allen, scrub, Lamar Jackson, scrub, Jordan Love, scrub. Wait. Who else? Mac Jones, below scrub, dumpster fire. Trevor Lawrence, Dak Prescott, Cooper Rush, Trey Lance, Tua Tagovailoa, Joe Burrow, Justin Herbert. Oh my God, they're so good. Whoop-de-doodle-doo. They all are scrubs compared to Jalen mother-loving Hurts, baby, because it hurts. And when I entered this game, I had a couple of thoughts. I said that how'd I put this? I said that the Eagles were going to lose to the Chiefs 24-27. That's what I went into this game because Chiefs, they're the superior team. They got Pat Mahomes. They got Steve Spagnuolo type of defense. But I had confidence that the Eagles were going to win this game. They did win the game. They won Super Bowl 59 with Jalen Hurts hosting that Lombardi trophy. That was a beautiful image to watch. But little did I know, I did not expect this to happen. The Eagles, this Philadelphia Eagles team, which had their backs against the wall by every single media pundit, from the likes of Dan Orlovsky, who's now a punk bitch. I want to say most of the guys from ESPN. I'm talking about you, Stephen A. I'm talking about you, Shay. Go fuck yourselves, both of you. Who else? Oh yeah, those Fox Sports analysts, those from the breakfast, that Breakfast Club, whatever bullshit. This is why your ratings are so low. Nick Wright, oh my God, hardcore Chiefs fan. Get that shit out of here. And I want to talk about guys like Chase Daniels, Emmanuel Ocho, or No Show, and Aaron Jones. I thought James Jones was decent. He's the only one I liked from that facility group. But of course, and every single media pundit that doubted the Philadelphia Eagles, They did not expect this defense, this Vic Fangio defense that came into New Orleans. They took a belt and they put belt to ass. They whipped the Kansas City Chiefs like the spoiled, rotten shit stain of a kid that they have. Scratch that part. They put belt
No,
to
I'm
ass
putting all of this in. I'm putting all of this in.
On the spoiled bitches known as the Kansas City Chiefs. Scratch out the Kansas City bitches. We made them our bitch. And it was beautiful. How do I begin this? I like how I used to talk about. I want to talk about defense. What is the saying? Defense wins championships.
Exactly. Your
And
defense won your championship. They should have gotten the Super Bowl MVP trophy, not Jalen running back Hurts.
no, correction. Super Bowl champion Jalen Hurts, bitch. I'm
Jalen
sorry.
running back Hurts.
Who I believe had more passing touch, who was sacked less times, only through an arm punt in that game. But besides that, I want to talk about
all interceptions for Jalen Hurts
this game
arm
was
punts.
just an arm. This game was just an arm punt.
Exactly how it is for Eagles fans.
But
no
then
wrongdoing whatsoever.
This is why people. This is the same. I mean, I understand this. You're probably in your. I don't know what stage of I know you're undergoing the 5 stages, and I still know that you're still under denial and the delusion that the Philadelphia Eagles are your NFL 2024, 2025 Super Bowl champions. And of course, I want to break a little bit of film, and shout out to NFL Net and shout out to NFL and YouTube as well for this. I want to talk about one of the first plays, 3rd and 9. This is basically the Chiefs' first drive. You see Mahomes, he basically goes in this. It looks like 1-2 looks like a spread. It's definitely a spread formation. One running back. He's able to hike it. Looks back. See this type of what does Vic Fangio like to do? He goes mainly a cover 2 type of defense. And I'm like, oh my God, for the love of God. You know what I said? I don't want to stick on zone. Rush 4 or 5 guys, have linebackers playing spy, right? And have your secondary play tight man coverage.
Mm-hmm.
Guess what we're seeing? 1 linebacker there, 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm seeing only Sweat. I'm seeing maybe possibly Nolan Smith, Jalen Carter, Milton Williams, or Jalen Carter, Jordan Davis. Look at this type. And then you have probably Oren Burks, Zach Bondon, Reed Blankenship, Quinyon, Cooper DeJean, and whatnot, and Darius Slay. Watch this coverage. Did you see that? So what are we seeing from there? Let me put this in I don't want this in sleep timer. Let me put this at half or let's put it at 0.5, okay? What do we have? So what are we seeing from this, Anand?
I'm not sure. Are you talking about the Eagle standpoint?
This Eagle standpoint. What do you see that zone play that they're showing?
Yeah, zone coverage, right?
And right there, just when you thought this outside, what I really like about this part, just when you see this outside,
looks like it's man coverage.
It's this guy. You're showing zone, but then guess what? Boom, man coverage right there. This is brilliant stuff that I'm seeing. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then one of the first pressures, Mahomes. Nolan Smith is the first one that starts the initiation, and then look at the hustle. Brilliant, and Isaiah Rodgers almost picks it off. And what I didn't expect is that I thought the Eagles were just going to go 4-man, 5-man front all day. And here's the crazy stat, everyone. Vic Fangio, and this is according to Ari Meirov. I pulled off this old tweet, and it's on my phone. So They basically said, like, Patrick Mahomes dropped back 42 times. Eagles blitzed 0.0% of the snaps. 6 sacks, 3 turnovers.
It just goes to show how piss poor that offensive line situation was from the tackle perspective. Right?
Yeah.
Because like the Eagles like front 7 has been or like front 4 defensive linemen throughout defensive line throughout the season has been pretty good, but they weren't like the dominant 70 sack season that it was in 2017, right? It was like 45.
No, it was
or something
2022.
Like
2022 when you had the likes of like Hassan Reddick, Josh Sweat,
right, yeah, 2022.
Javon Hargrave, Hassan Reddick, Brandon Graham.
Right. But this
yeah.
year it wasn't even close to that in terms of sack production. So it was really surprising to see just how much pressure that they were able to get. Like you said, in non-blitz situations, right? They were able to generate 6 sacks off of, not even blitzing at all.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think it's just more emblematic of the offensive line situation that the Chiefs had. Just like in 2021 when they faced the Bucks and, Mahomes was like completely shut down because he had to run for his life. But yeah, go ahead.
But I think like one of the craziest stats, like by the end of this, by halftime, Mahomes was 9 for 18 for 61 yards and 2 interceptions. And I mean, I'll talk about the Anant and I will talk about the final stats about this later, but this doesn't compare. This is the sequence I want to share. This is 1st and 10, ball at the 30-yard line. I'm seeing 4 guys. And looks like 3 linebackers. I'm seeing Bond, Burks, and maybe I think it could be Blankenship coming in right there, or Cooper. And then you have Slay, Mitchell. Hell of a job by Howie Roseman to first get Quinyon Mitchell and Cooper DeJean. I'll talk about those 2 later. As we're seeing, Mahomes is showing 1 back, possibly looks like 12. Looks like 12 personnel was 2 tight end set, right? So this looks like a 1 tight end set with Travis Kelce. I don't know where he is. But first of all, look at this. And like their basic 3-point stance, a little bit of crowding. Mahomes, ball is snapped. See, and here's a running back. This is supposed to be a targeted to Pacheco or Kareem Hunt. And then right there. Guess what happens? Milton Williams is the first one to come right off the bat. Sacked. Just dominance right there.
Mm-hmm.
And then here's the second, and here's the second sack in this sequence. This goes to Jalen Hunt. Jalen Hunt is a third round rookie. I thought when the Eagles picked him up, this was a bust. This guy is like, why the hell are you picking Jalen Hunt early? And apparently Vic Fangio was the one that told Howie Roseman, get this guy. He could fit in my scheme. And I'll show you why. Jalen Hunt, I believe he's right there. I think that's Sweat or Hunt. I forget which numbers are there. But Jalen Hunt gets initial pressure. Sweat and Hunt.
Jalen Hunt was going against Travis Kelce as a blocker. Who's not even the best tight end blocking wise.
Okay, let's wait. Let me see.
58 is 58 is Sweat, right?
No, 58 is Hunt. He's a rookie. Kelsey's right there.
Oh, 58 is Hunt? Oh, okay. I thought the one opposite.
Yeah, he's going up against Josh Sweat.
Ah, okay.
He goes Hunt and then right there. That's just easily swallowed up. And now I gotta give a shout out to special shout out to the secondary. Hell of a game. And this, I thought, was one of the biggest Masala moment of the game. 10-0, 3rd and 16. Like, okay, Chiefs are gonna do a comeback. This is gonna be the same bullshit. When I see this coverage, this gets me really, really worried. Do you want to know why?
Mm-hmm.
If you're playing too deep, and you have route beaters like Xavier Worthy, who has this type of speed, you're like, What are you doing? Play press man, disrupt the route. Even if it's a 3rd and 15, you cannot be playing zone all day. It makes no sense. And then Cooper DeJean's right there probably going up against D-Hops or whatnot. But like, I did not get this formation. Like, why are you playing like 5 yards, 10 yards off? Then I see the reason being. First, Mahomes is rolling right because there's initial pressure. And then Bond comes in there. Guess who's right there at the middle?
Yeah, that was a terrible throw by
Cooper
Mahomes. I don't know what he's seeing there.
Like Cooper DeJean, he's a rookie. He's sitting on his zone. And because when we moved him to play the nickel slot position, I'm like, okay, let's see how he does in the Super Bowl. He's sitting there.
But that was his natural position, which is why I was so upset that you guys got him, because it was like a perfect fit for you guys.
And I guess it was supposed to target Kelsey on this route.
Yeah.
Because I would say this, but I want to say 9 out of 10 times Mahomes makes that throw.
Right, and I thought that he would have thrown it to the outside corner, right, or outside receiver right there, who's going towards the sideline. That would have been a much easier throw to get away with, because it's either going into the hands of your receiver or it's going out of bounds, and you just punt the ball instead of whatever this becomes.
Throwing it at the inside, then Cooper DeJean makes a pick. And the thing is, Kelsey's going up against probably Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, or looks like Quinyon Mitchell. You know who wins that route? Who wins that battle 100% of the time? Travis Kelce. I get that you want to
old.
Huh?
He is a grandpa. Travis Kelce's a grandpa.
And yes, he's told he did text Pat McAfee that he's returning for another season. So what to do? And then
why he would.
I mean, Cooper DeJean. And by the way, excellent blocking. I'm just happy for the guy. He scored on his birthday. I believe he's the first player. And then we got to talk about this play. Okay, so no, it was one of those early sacks. Mahomes looking, he's trying to motion, fakes the handoff, gives it to Pacheco. This Kansas City run game, I honestly thought that it was going to go off first. I said, we mentioned earlier, for Kansas City to win this game, they also have to run the ball effectively.
Mm-hmm.
I was very shocked on why they would attack with the pass first initially. Why aren't you grinding the game with a run game?
Yeah. But also I thought that they would stick to their plan of creating open space in the short and intermediate area instead of trying to target deep and testing that secondary.
Yeah.
Try and target linebackers away from Zach Bond, right? Because the other linebackers
against Oren Burks. Oren Burks is decent, but he's not that level.
He's liability in pass coverage.
Yeah, watch Chiefs Niners Super Bowl. Burks had to step in for Dre Greenlaw that game, and it went down fast.
Right.
And I thought this was another interception that put this game away. So we're seeing the same zone, and I'm like, oh God, this could be 1 minute and 49 seconds. Do you know what I'm thinking? Mahomes is going to pull off some bullshit. He's going to throw a deep pass. That was my initial thought. Sitting right here, motion. He steps back to pass. Initial pressure, and I find out, I think it was Milton Williams or Sweat.
No, that's Sweat, right?
Sweat pushes the tackle into Mahomes before he can make that step.
Mm-hmm.
And he has to adjust, and he's trying to target probably DeAndre Hopkins or number 5. Guess what? Guess who's sitting there? Zach Bond.
That was a bad throw. 2, that was an incredible athletic play by Zach Bond. He should have been the Super Bowl MVP. Honestly, in my opinion, he should have been the Super Bowl MVP, because not only was he fantastic for you guys in the Super Bowl with that critical interception and a couple of other plays, but also he's been fantastic for you guys all season long.
Right. I mean, like, he could have been like defensive player of the year, but I think like the way that they gave the pass returns, like, okay, that's fine. But I thought like but overall, it would have been between Josh Sweat, Milton Williams, and Jalen Hurts. Those are the 3 guys, I would have been fine with any of them. But we'll get to the offense. But then this 4th and 5 play, this literally blew my mind. You want to know why? Because apparently Cooper DeJean was hurt that play. And of all people, the guy whom I didn't want to see, Avonte Maddox, steps on the field. Avonte Maddox has become such a liability that we had DeJean play him and put him away. And on a side note, I find out Nolan Smith had a bit of a bicep, had torn his triceps that game. And he said, like, no, I'm going to be playing the entire game. And he did that. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, and he just had surgery.
Warrior.
And Cam Jurgens played, like last Wednesday, he went in for back surgery. And Landon Dickerson also had surgery right after Super Bowl. I'm like, those guys toughed it out. And so 4th and 5, this is what I'm really scared about. Because Mahomes, even if it's 27-0, you know what game reminds me of? 28-3. But this is what the Eagles do. Maddox is right there. Keep a guy on this. Keep it. And he's going up against DeAndre Hopkins. Who wins this battle? D-Hops. See the motion. Mahomes steps back to pass. Kansas City's going inside breakers. Guess what? He apparently throws it late, and Maddox backs it away. I'm like,
that was also a bad throw by Mahomes. Like I think the pressure, the constant pressure, like against the Bucs, got to him.
Like it would
for anyone in his position, right?
Yeah.
So,
I mean, like, this is just incredible. Like, if you want to talk about the 6 sacks, Josh Sweat 2.5, Milton Williams 2 sacks, 1 forced fumble. Jordan Davis had a sack. I mean, even though he played limited snaps, he's been really effective. And the fact that this defense relies on that rotation really works out, and the rook Jalen Hunt. But you got to give a lot of credit to Jalen Carter. That entire game, even though the stats don't say it much, he was the cause for so many double teams. And when there's the one-on-one matchups, attack. I mean,
Jalen Carter has the pass rush revolve around him, right? Like, that is how critical he is to y'all's pass rush plans, right? Like you said, he's the one who takes up a lot of double teams and generates a lot of that interior pressure, so that all the exterior, like the edge rushers, the true edge rushers, all they would have to do is find a way to beat your one-on-ones, right? Because you're not going to have double teams frequently, which is why players like Josh Sweat can succeed so well, because you have Josh Sweat is a complementary to Jalen Carter,
right? And I know, like, we'll talk about the offseason, which is going to be really, really tough, but it's a good problem to have. But I mean, what was really touching is like mid third quarter, when it was like pretty much all put away. I was happy to see Brandon Graham come back after having that triceps tear and saying, "Oh my God, he's gonna get shut out." But the fact that we were able to make it to the Super Bowl and have him and watch him play, what could be his final game as an Eagle, that I thought that was a good swan song for him. And if he does come back, I mean, yay! But I like it when what we saw with this young squad, so damn good. And now that I'm done talking about the defense, I gotta talk about my offense, baby. I gotta talk about MVP Jalen Hurts. 17 for 22, 221 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. And yes, I'll give credit to the Chiefs. They stopped Saquon Barkley. They shut him out completely. They said, Jalen Hurts, beat us with your arm. Are you sure you want to do that?
He did it. He beat him with his legs.
You want to talk about that? So
he beat him with his legs.
Jalen Hurts not only beat him with his arms, he also did it with his legs. And I got my jersey, baby. Jalen Hurts, #1. Bow down, you chief fucker.
Never.
But I'll say this. Not only was his passing game good, he ran 11 for 72 yards, which was really crucial, because if Saquon Barkley isn't running, Jalen Hurts also got to step up. He was able to do it. 1 touchdown. And I mean, like, and you know what? Yes, he may have a better supporting cast than like Pat Mahomes, Jaden Daniels, and Matt Stafford's, but still, he
Everyone.
outplayed Mahomes. He outplayed his future rival, Jaden. And I think we're gonna see the best matchup ever in the NFC East: Jaden Daniel versus Jalen Hurts. This is, you know what? Now I think about it, it's gonna be an SEC rivalry again.
Mm-hmm.
LSU versus Bama and OU, basically. Nah, I still consider OU to be the Big 12. What the hell? And I mean, but again, I gotta give credit to Vic Fangio. Yes, the Chiefs got the garbage points and garbage yards, but this game was basically over by halftime. 24 points the Eagles held, and the Chiefs only had 23 yards total. And you know, like, remember the Chiefs in Super Bowl 57, that parade? They had the 0 sacks shirts.
Mm-hmm.
I thought the Eagles defensive line should have brought in 6 should have wore 6 sacks. And I have to say, shout out to the exciting whites in Cooper DeJean and Reed Blanket. God. I remember Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, when he was saying, like, in his Super Bowl, like the pregame or like the media tour and whatnot, right? The media scrum. He was saying, when he was saying this on the Eagles channel, you got 2 exciting white boys. No one is safe. I'm like, bro. And of course, he started this hit song, Cooper DeJean is quarterback 1, and he's gonna lock down your wide receiver number 1. Cooper DeJean's quarterback 1. Okay, I'm done with my singing, but my God, if I want to talk about the more on the Jalen Hurts offensive attack, like, what I was very impressed with was the passing attack. Kellen Moore really played his last game, coached his last game as his offensive coordinator, and I thought he did a damn good job in this game. Don't you agree?
Yep, I agree.
I thought, well, you know what? I was really impressed. Not just like, because all the focus was mainly, oh my God, you have to stop Saquon Barkley. Yes, you held him to 25 carries for 57 yards. Wonderful. But guess what? We have other weapons that we can focus with. Devontae Smith, AJ Brown, Jahan Dotson, and Dallas Goedert. Having Dallas Goedert in this game, when I saw Hurts attack Goddard more, even though he had like 2 catches for 27 yards in total, that was brilliant. Opening up with the wide, targeting with your tight ends. I saw crossers. I saw Jalen Hurts put up the deep ball. I didn't expect Jahan Dotson of all people, man. Like, what was your thought on the Jahan Dotson one? Like, I think I have that. I have the 2nd and 11 play right here. Let me share me screen. Bro, like, I'm on a high right now. On this one. So here's the play. I'm going to go this on normal speed. So Dotson is basically out. He's basically running a go ball. And, and all day, Steve Spagnuolo is bringing the blitz. Boom. Pure placement right there. And of course, this sets up the tush push, which the Packers tried to get. The Packers, being the childish amateur team, to try and ban the tush push.
We're the amateur
and
team.
guess what?
As the team who can't even handle a victory right by burning down their entire city.
But I'm sorry.
Preventing a burning down of their entire city by greasing the poles. That's the trashy fan base. That's telling the oldest fan base, the most reputable, the most well-renowned, and the most successful team in the league. To be classy, right? You know, that the whole reporting of it's not Packers fans who want the tush push banned.
It was the
Because if
Bills,
you
Sean McDermott, who literally said, "Oh, this causes injuries." Newsflash: the NFL stats reported there are no injuries caused by it.
yeah,
You want to know the reason why some teams? Yeah, and Nick Sirianni and Howie Roseman said it's a damn insult. I say so because guess what? Anyone else can do it, but guess what? Even if we don't have someone pushing,
right.
you know where I'm going with this. But even without that aspect, we have a quarterback who can squat 600 pounds. And the Bills tried it, but thanks to some stupid referee bias, that should have been a first down anyway. And the Packers, when I saw Tucker Kraft do it on us, I was like, that was brilliant. Why don't you do it more often? And then
Funnily enough, the Packers. Sorry, go ahead. No, continue.
And also, when Jordan Love tried to run up for that own tush push formation, he slipped on the play, and I'm like, these are the teams that wanted to try and ban it. And I mean, Todd Bowles, much love to Todd Bowles, just said like, hey, yes, people are gonna say like try and ban it, but if any team can do it, if you know how to stop it, go ahead. I think there are some teams that can stop the tush push. Hell, look at the Bucks. Vita Vea, if you remember, in that playoff game, when the Eagles tried to go for like 2 points or the 4th and goal-ish tush push formation, Vita Vea was right there disrupting the hell out of it. And
we stopped you guys 2 to 3 times this year. We were the best team at stopping the tush push this year.
Yeah,
the Packers were. That's why I was surprised when Mark Murphy was the one who reportedly, you can never trust what these people say, right? But he reportedly said that he wanted to ban the tush push. But that's like him. That's not Packers fans. We're not delusional like Eagles, right? We're not delusional like the Cowboys. We're actually logical and rational people.
Okay.
But
that we can agree on. Like, at least we're not delusional like the Cowboys. But then, okay, so but like moving on, like to what I was impressed with Jalen Hurts. Like so far, you look at this 3rd and 7 play. Jalen Hurts steps back. You see Chiefs trying to go 4-man, 5-man front. Looking, guess what he's able to find? Easily AJ Brown right there. What I really liked about this game, this offensive game, was the quick passing attack. Yes,
that was a good throw.
Oh,
he made like 2 to 3 good throws to keep the chains moving.
Yeah,
I'll give him that.
And I wanted to get your that one flag play, the AJ Brown offensive passing interference. When I saw that little bit of a tap, I'm like, oh yeah, that's ticky tacky right there. And then of course the Dallas Goedert getting shoved. That's like, so the refs are really gonna do it this way. And I thought like we were gonna get screwed by ref ball, but apparently the refs said like, no, we want chaos. So I'm like,
you also got helped with ref ball with against the Commanders in the championship.
A lot. I want to say the Jalen Carter, the AJ Brown one, that should have been like an obvious penalty.
An ejection on both. And Jalen Carter should have been penalized for that.
Those two, I would agree with AJ Brown being for an unsportsmanlike conduct penalty, and that one. I was surprised that they didn't call it on those two. I will say this: I was very surprised because I'd like a good fair game, but this Super Bowl, I'm like, what the hell is going on? Because I'm seeing ref ball canceling out against each other. This makes no sense.
Yep.
What makes sense in the world? Like literally. And then of course, this one play. 2nd and 8. Jalen Hurts is looking.
Man, so much time.
So
wide open. How is that? Oh my God.
So let's do a count, okay? How much time does it take in the pocket? Okay, so let's get it.
1, 2, 3 and a half.
AJ Brown's right there.
But wide open.
And then he does this LeBron James thing. I'm like,
yeah,
I get it. And then, of course, him having those big runs, what I really liked, this play, guess what he sees? Snap, open lane, get the first down, and slide. That's what you got to do.
Yeah, that's the most underrated aspect about his game, that a lot of people don't really, a lot of defenses forget to take into account.
Right. And then, oh, and I have to, and I want to talk about one more play. He had like 2 big runs, but then this pass to Saquon Barkley, I thought that was pretty crazy. And I mean, credit to Jake Elliott. He made all his field goals and all his extra points. I'm like, where's this Jake Elliott? Where the hell were you, man? When all kickers did not know how to kick a field goal or an extra point, where was this shit? And Harrison Butker not doing anything, that was beautiful. And Harrison Butker is a disgusting human being. I'm just gonna say that. You know, if you know what, if you know, you know.
Yes.
But okay, so this play, 1st and 10, Jalen Hurts is stepping back to pass. Guess what he finds? He was able to find. He goes around, looks at Barkley. How the hell does Barkley make that catch? And I'm like, oh my god,
that's a great catch on him. Terrible throw by Jalen Hurts.
That was like a late throw. I'm like, wow, what are you doing? And now this, I thought this literally set this game apart. This is over. Jalen Hurts is sitting right there, 46-yard line after the Chiefs fail on the 4th and 5 attempt. Steps back to pass, fakes a handoff, play action. Guess what? I haven't seen play action in a while, right? This is something new.
Oh my God! Look at how much space and time he has. Wide open, Devontae Smith.
Yeah. Well, so Devontae Smith, this is a go ball.
There's nobody within like 5 yards of Jalen Hurts. That was the most perplexing.
And look at the line protection right there. 1, 2, 3, boom. And I mean, like, I have to say this. Devontae Smith, he is now one of the fewest peoples to win a national championship twice with Alabama, won a Heisman, and now he's a Super Bowl champion. And by the way, he won it in the same ground where he lost the high school state championship game.
Huh. Wow.
He's from Louisiana, and
gotcha.
there was the when I was watching like the NFL mic'd up, Devontae Smith was crying, man. He's like, and Jalen Hurts is like, hey, you're gonna be back. And the thing is, Jalen Hurts said that he has not taken down the Super Bowl 57 loss from his phone screensaver. I'm like, this dude wants it more. And AJ Brown,
he is Russell Wilson. I mean, he is the 2020s version of Russell Wilson. I will say that.
Mm-hmm.
In all the facets, right? All the good facets and his weaknesses. But
yeah. And what I will say is, this was a hell. And this capped off a hell of an Eagles Super Bowl run. And I was talking this with a bunch of people. And by the way, I want to give special shout outs to the following guys. Fourth and John always, the Swoop Boys podcast for giving me the invite to join. This my very first year in the Eagles winning the Super Bowl. Can't be that much of a coincidence. Pete Nathan of the Pete Nathan podcast. Asif Batai of the Birds and Bench podcast. I was just talking to him recently on the pot about the combine, and of course, memories of the Super Bowl, and of course, Helene, and some people from Threads. Shout out to Kirsten, who's trying to convert me into a Michigan fan, although I'm a Red Raider alumni, and she knows her football, and those that know their football. It's been a hell of a ride for the Eagles thing, and I'm just so freaking happy about this team, man. This season, we definitely did it the best way possible. After that collapse after the 10-1, and then the collapse, you can replace it with a new memory. That's Jalen Hurts winning a Super Bowl and nonchalantly saying, "I'm going to Disney World," and then late, I know he said that he wants to get back, and after that Super Bowl parade, which is beautiful to see, Jalen Hurts is starting back in the lab working. I'm like, this guy's a freak. Is sick. He's a psycho. He just wants another ring, like any other team. Because there's a quote that I read: "We're not the hunters, we're the hunted." Because this hunt, the hunt's over. Because now every single team wants the crown. Because heavy is the crown, like that one Linkin Park song. This is what you asked for. Heavy is the crown. And now, with that being said, Kellen Moore is now with the New Orleans Saints as the head coach. Doug Nusenmeyer joins him as the offensive coordinator. So the Eagles make two moves. They get Kevin Patullo. They promote inward from passing game coordinator to the offensive coordinator position. So I'm like, I don't know about it. Then they hire Scott Leffler from Bowling Green, who was their Bowling Green head coach, who has like 30 plus years of experience, I think. I mean, he's coached like around with like the quarterbacks, and so he may be bringing like a new style. So opening up with new ideas. And luckily, I'm happy that Vic Fangio is staying for another year, and Christian Parker, our defensive backs coach, is still there. And of course, we have offseason to talk about soon, but I'm so fucking proud of this team, man. This Eagles team fought. Shut up all those damn naysayers. But they did it the best way they did, by playing it on the field. And they had that inner excellence. Yes, after A.J. Brown had that touchdown, it's reading that book. Inner excellence. And the fact that the Super Bowl happened 2 days before my birthday.
Exactly. There you go. Greatest birthday gift for you.
That was a great
belated birthday again. Everybody from NFL fans.
Thank you, man.
NFL Masala fans, let's go.
But I also have to say this, like, honestly, this was a wild season 3 of NFL Masala, man. And I couldn't, again, as I've always said this to many people, this podcast does not happen without one of the best damn co-hosts in this goddamn earth. That is my man, Anand.
That is you.
I love you, brother.
That is you. Appreciate it. Take the win. Alrighty. So, yeah, not much else that I need to say for the Super Bowl. Chiefs were completely overpowered. The Eagles proved that they were the best team. And what the Fangio defense did really good was at closing the gaps and hunting down the Chiefs, key players. The important thing that I brought up before was that no good tackles hurt the Chiefs more than anything, because that is what allowed those 6 sacks with 0 blitzes to mount up and pressure Mahomes into making those critical mistakes, just like he did against the Bucs in 2021. So what they need to do is they need to, just like they rebuilt that interior of the offensive line, they need to do the same thing with the tackles. They need to make sure that Joe Thuney does not end up being the left tackle, right? For the Chiefs. So that's important. And then the 2 straight interceptions really turned the game on its head. Super Bowl MVP, as you said, as I said before, in my opinion, should have gone to either Zach Bond or Josh Sweat. And Hurts was just good enough. He didn't make many mistakes besides that interception and a couple of sacks. Or did he not allow? Did they not allow a sack? I think they got 0 sacks, right? The Eagles.
No, Jalen Hurts got sacked twice.
Okay, so besides the 2 sacks and the interception, he was just good enough making key plays. But obviously, like I said before, the underrated ability, which was the key this game, was his rushing ability. Just the ability to get out of pressure situations when the pocket did fail and scramble. Since Saquon was taken out in the first half, Hurts came in clutch with his rush game. So, yeah, key was, Jalen Hurts and that and his rushing offense, along with some key critical plays by the passing offense, keeping the score up, allowing the defense to get some rest. It wasn't just field goals, right? What you guys did perfectly on offense was you scored as many touchdowns as you possibly could and not relied on field goals, because that would have made the job 10 times harder for the Eagles defense. But
Mhm.
inevitably, I think the Eagles defense won the game, and they have been winning games for the Eagles this entire year. So I'm, kudos to you guys. You clearly showed that you were the best team this year, especially towards the end, towards in the playoffs, um, and in the Super Bowl. So good job and good luck for next year.
Definitely.
Alrighty. So moving on, we're talking about the team draft now. So just to highlight or recap, right? Just to recap, the team draft is where we have a group of our members draft all 32 teams in an NFL draft style order. Where we have we have 8 different rounds at this point because we had 4 people: Rakshak, me, Cozy, and Varun. So Rakshak, the results of that draft at the beginning of the season was that Rakshak drafted the Eagles, the Lions, the Niners, the Browns, the Colts, Broncos, Titans, and Panthers. I drafted the Chiefs, the Packers, the Bills, the Jets, the Seahawks, the Raiders, the Vikings, and the Jaguars. Cozy drafted the Texans, the Dolphins, the Falcons, the Cowboys, Steelers, Cardinals, and the Commanders, which was his biggest victory. Right, that was his largest victory besides when you compare with his other selections.
Mm-hmm.
And the Patriots. And Varun drafted the Bengals, the Ravens, the Rams, the Bears, the Chargers, the Bucks, the Saints, and the Giants. So at the end, Varun is the lowest at 24 total points. His 3 worst picks really brought him down, and that was the Bears, the Saints, and the Giants. And some of his other teams, like the Ravens and the Rams, they didn't have many great playoff victories, which is why they didn't have a lot of boosters. But the Rams did have so he had 2 award winners on his selection. He had the comeback player of the year in Joe Burrow and Bengals, and then he had the defensive rookie of the year in the Rams. So that was Varun at 24. Next comes Cozy at 35.5, with the Commanders single-handedly saving his season, bringing in 43.5 points with Jaden Daniels as the offensive rookie of the year, and the Commanders winning a couple of playoff games and going into the championship, or the AFC NFC championship game. So he was really carried with a couple of weak selections in the mid rounds. Right? The Dolphins, the Falcons, and the Cowboys, along with the Steelers and Cardinals. Like those 5 selections really hampered him from going anything higher. But he was saved by the Commander. So I don't know how Cozy's going to feel about that.
Yeah, and the funny thing is, I texted him about it. It's like, hey, bro, you got 3rd, and he said this. I knew that weeks ago. I looked up the video and figured it out. Laugh out loud, laugh out loud. I'm like, oh wait, hey, at least you're okay. At least you're not dead last.
Exactly. Then you were second, Rakshak, at 181 points.
Oh,
and then I was first at 196. So you had the Eagles that brought in 205 points for obvious reasons, but a couple of your picks in the Browns, the Titans, and the Panthers really brought it down low.
Yeah.
But you also had the Lions, so that came in clutch, along with the Broncos, where you had the the defensive player there. So you actually had the offensive and the defensive players of the year.
Huh.
So good job for you.
Didn't know that. Now
Yeah.
I know.
So you had Saquon Barkley and Pat Surtain.
Right.
So you had the Eagles and the Broncos. And then I had so for me the biggest victory was the Bills. That was because of Josh Allen winning the MVP.
Yep.
That single-handedly switched fortunes for me. So yeah. And then I also had the Vikings. So I had the Chiefs, Packers, Bills, Jets.
You sold your soul
Seahawks.
for that.
Huh?
You sold your soul.
I know. The Raiders, the Vikings, and the Jags, and they brought in 55 points. The Vikings brought in 55
this
points.
is funny. Xavier Worthy. Oh,
What did he say?
Xavier Worthy said, "There's Fast, and then there's me." After Isaiah Pacheco.
That is such a respectful roast. Oh my god! Considering that they were teammates.
Oh god, yeah. I'm sorry. Wait. Officer, I'd like to report a dead body. Oh my god.
Alrighty.
But yeah,
So,
that's pretty much it, mate. Yeah, I thought when I saw that, I'm like, oh my god, this is the funniest thing ever.
oh. Yes. Alrighty. So what should we decide as a punishment for Varun? I have a suggestion.
What's the suggestion?
He has to buy an Aaron Rodgers Jets jersey as a Pats fan.
No. I thought he should buy Super Bowl 52 Eagles and sing "Fly Eagles Fly" for everyone. That's like that's the only basic. I don't know any good punishments. Oh no, he has to buy a Deshaun Watson Browns jersey.
Oh my god, yeah.
And
I would not wish on my worst enemy doing that.
Deshaun
Not
Watson
even cozy.
Browns jersey and put it up on IG as a profile for a week.
That would be hilarious. All right, so we're going to let him know in our group chat then. That's for sure.
Yeah.
All righty, so let's finish off with the off-season expectations.
Yep.
Starting with you.
Appreciate it. Again, just to reiterate the fact that like how I'm going to speak a little bit of professional wrestling, like how in the WWE last year's WrestleMania in Philadelphia, WrestleMania 40, how Cody Rhodes finished the story by beating the tribal chief Roman Reigns, ending his 100,000+ year reign as WWE champion and winning the WWE champion, just like Jalen Hurts finishing his story and beating Pat Mahomes. And also, as a bit of an Easter egg, special shout out to Jeremiah Trotter Jr. His dad, one of the best Eagles linebackers in Jeremiah Trotter, when the Eagles won the NFC Championship game, he was holding his kid Trotter Jr. as a baby in the NFC Championship game celebration. And Trotter Jr. winning a Super Bowl in this year, man. Those two finished the story. Just like that, the Eagles are they have a ton of free agents that they have to focus on. And and as much as people are going to say like, oh my God, they have so many things that they need to focus on, I say this is a good problem because there is depth. The Eagles have the depth and they have the talent that can match up. Luckily, most of our offense are on are extended and are on good, decent rookie contracts. The only starter not locked in is Mekhi Becton. And this could be a priority for Howie Roseman. I mean, the fact that Mekhi Becton had himself a great bounce back year. After surviving the hellscape that is the New York Jets, to come over here and resurrect his career in Stoutland University, incredible. And I think I would not be surprised if the Eagles try and get Jack Driscoll and Fred Johnson back. Those two provide that good offensive line depth. Fred Johnson has some good starting camps. Britton Covey, maybe you try and bring him back. Penny Gainwell, this is going to be the interesting thing because he's in his final year. And the fact that Will Shipley stepped up and he's really good on special teams. And so you're stuck with Saquon Barkley and Will Shipley for the next couple of years. So do you go and draft a running back this year, or do you stick with Gainwell? Maybe you go running back and draft one, and I'm going to say you get my boy Taj Brooks from Texas Tech. I'm biased as hell, but I saw Cam Scatterboo just of Arizona State just like crushes combine. And I think like, and I mean, as much as there are like a ton of names over there, I'm just gonna say mainly Mekhi Becton's gonna be the main concern. Now on defense, this is the tricky part because there are 3 players that they need to focus on. Zach Bond, outside linebacker, Milton Williams, and Josh Sweat. So here's the thing. Brandon Graham most likely will announce his official retirement in the next couple of weeks. And also, remember Howie Roseman last year, he signed Isaiah Rodgers and he had that 1-year suspension because he was caught cheating.
The gambling,
caught gambling. But this year, when he made plays on the outside, he was really good. He does have some strength. And guess what? Darius Slay is in his last year. This was Darius Slay's final year contract with the Eagles. So he says he could play 1 more year. He said, I would like to play with the Eagles for 1 more year, but I'd also like to go back to Detroit where I was originally drafted. So it depends upon, do you go with Rodgers or do you go with Slay? Because after Slay, because either without those 2, you have Quinyon Mitchell, Cooper DeJean. Maddox will most likely be out, but he could play a little more than you have depth with like Keely Ringo. Maybe you draft a backup corner. You get that Wooden Jr. from Cal Berkeley as a late round pick if possible. I know I've seen a lot of mock drafts for the Eagles trying to get Malachi Starks or Malachi Moore. I'm like, bro, it's not going to happen. Malachi Starks may have been good, but then Nick Enumawari, who has the sizes of DK Metcalf from South Carolina, dude, like,
I hope we take him. You guys don't need a wide receiver.
No, he's a safety.
Emanuwari. Oh, okay. I thought you said Elik Ayumanor. He's a wide receiver. Sorry, my bad. Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, I've been hearing a lot of comps for that. I was like, I mean, safety room, we may need to focus on that because outside of CJ Gardner and Reed Blankenship, if one of them's out, who do you got? You have Sidney Brown and blank. I don't trust. I mean, Tristan McCollum is good, but I just don't trust him. You maybe look for a late round safety pick, just someone who could fit in that Fangio's defense. I just don't know who. Maybe Malachi Moore if you get lucky, or hell, Denzel Burke. I don't know how good he is, but I'm just throwing out names. I still have yet to do my research. But I think like but Josh Sweat, most likely he will be gone because he did hire new representation. He got Drew Rosenhaus, who is responsible for like the big name contracts, and I think he's gonna ask for more. He had himself a great season, but he'll want more money. And I think if the Eagles need to find a way to keep Zach Bond. That's because outside of Zach Bond, you only have Oren Burks, who will most likely be back for a 1-year deal. N'Kobe Dean, who needs to recover from injury, and Jeremiah Trotter Jr. and Ben Van Sumeren. I don't want the same mistakes when we lost TJ Edwards and Kazir White, and we had to stuck with Nicholas Morrow, Shaq Leonard, Zach Cunningham. That was a dumpster fire completely. Eagles have to have that linebacker secure. So some free agents I will take a look at, maybe especially the edge defensive tackle area. For defensive end, defensive tackle, if Sweat and Williams go, maybe you look for someone like Chase Young, Khalil Mack, Peyton Turner, Azeez Ojulari, Brandon Browning. I've heard rumors that Myles Garrett could be an Eagles target. First of all, as much as I love Myles Garrett, I don't think the Eagles need it because we'd have to give so much trade ammunition and a player. I don't want to lose Jordan Davis. I don't want to lose Nolan Smith. I don't even want to lose like another guy, like another one from that vaunted Georgia defense that helps win championships. But if you're giving up draft picks like a first and and either a third or something like that. And if it's reasonable,
I think you would have to give up 2 firsts for Garrett.
You got to give up 2 firsts, like this year and next year's.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if maybe Howie Roseman will take the bite on this one, but this defensive class, I mean, I like that Shamar Stewart from Texas A&M.
Mm-hmm.
The way that he built his combine, I mean, nearly matching up to Myles Garrett. Why not draft a prototype in Myles Garrett?
9.99 official RAS score.
Did that just come out now?
Just came out about half an hour ago. 9.99. He is insane, dude. Insane athlete.
I would say, like, you get, Myles Garrett, Max Crosby, or Khalil Mack. Like, if you get Mack for like a 1-year deal, you don't for not trading him, you get him, pick him up at free agency. I'm okay with it, but I'd rather stick with the youth when you're building through that defensive line. Maybe you look at Walter Nolan, defensive tackle from Ole Miss, Shamar Stewart, Josiah Stewart. From Michigan, Nick Scorton, Jack Sawyer, JT Tuimoloau. There are a ton of names, man. And linebackers that Brian Stutman Jr. from OU.
I think you guys should target Jihad Campbell at 30.
I was looking at Jihad Campbell because as much as I love Zach Bond, if you're able to keep him Zach Bond and you put Jihad Campbell right next to that lineup, you put like hell.
You know what his combine comp is? Sorry. After you finish, I'll tell you his combine camp.
I believe if I remember, his combine comp is Edger and Cooper.
Yeah. You might have Edge, Cooper, and Zach Bond in the same linebacker.
Jesus.
That would be the death knell for any offense.
And plus, if Nakobe Dean comes back, you could literally go 4-3. Like, you have Dean, you have Bond, and you have, oh my God. Then you could put Jeremiah Trotter Jr. and put him as a defensive end. God, that's going to be nasty. I would love to see Jihad Campbell, but I think he gets taken early. So I'm preparing my odds for that one. But if he falls to 32, Howie Roseman, stick to him.
Yeah.
But speaking about linebackers, Demetrius Knight, you keep on. And also, there's a good free agent that you may take a look at, Baron Browning of the Broncos. He can not only play edge, but he plays linebacker. And guess what? He fits the Fangio scheme really damn well. He's played with Vic before, so maybe they say, hey, let's go get this guy for more depth. So if you add in that rotation and it works out well, and as much as I like for getting like guys like free agency, like Baron Browning, Calais Campbell, Jimmy Kempski's been banging the table for that. I'm like, I love Calais Campbell, but come on, y'all. Come on. I like the young guns. Let them.
Would you target someone like Landon Jackson as an edge prospect?
Oh my God, dude, Landon Jackson looks so good. As a if he's in the late round pick, definitely worth a steal.
Like at 32?
I don't know. I think he's an early second at best, right?
I mean, at 32, he's basically an early second. You could probably trade down to like 40 or something like that.
But but in the scenario that Jihad Campbell and Landon Jackson are there at those 2 spots, maybe you go Landon Jackson or you get Smail Mondin Jr. from Georgia, who tested very well in his combine as well. So these are some guys I'm looking at. And for corners,
you don't need corners.
Me, I don't know, because the thing is, like, if Rodgers or Slay, it depends upon which one is going.
You need depth.
We need depth. So maybe you pick up a developmental one, Ben Van Sumer, and Avonte Maddox is probably going to be out, but if you bring him back for like a special teams thing or whatnot, then that's fine. But this is a great problem for us to have. I think wide receivers are pretty much set with Devontae Smith, AJ Brown, and plus Jahan Dotson is in that rookie first-year deal. So maybe the Eagles could go 50-year option in that small window. And let's see. I trust Howie Roseman to make his moves, but please keep Zach Bond. That's all I ask for. If Jihad Campbell goes early, I say you go defensive end or best player available in 32. And then later rounds, you have to pick for position.
Yeah. So one more thing about Landon Jackson. At 6'6", 264, he ran a 4.68 and had a 40.5-inch vertical. That was the second highest that they've seen in a long time. At
But
6'6", he scored a 9.88 on RAS. So
mhm,
he's a
yeah.
ultra athlete.
And a little bit I found out about that Scott Leffler, the new Eagles offensive coordinator. He's apparently worked no or like the Eagles new passing game or the QB's coach or
Mhm.
passing game coordinator. No, passing game they got Parks Frazier from the Colts. Or from the Dolphins, who's worked under the Mike McDaniel. So this guy's gonna be a new quarterbacks coach. Scott Leffler, he's worked with Tom Brady back in Michigan in the old day. Tim Tebow, Chad Henne to Logan Thomas. So he does have some experience, I guess. And then apparently, Ole Miss quarterback Jackson Dart, he said he's modeled his game after Jalen Hurts. You want to know his this is Jackson's Dart. 6'2", 6'2" and a quarter, 223 pounds, 30-inch arms, 9.5-inch hands. Jalen Hurts, 6'1", 222, 31 and 3/4 for the arm. Hand is 9 3/4. Not
Yeah. Yeah. Honestly, I could see Jackson Dart being the best QB out of this draft class. He was the one who showed the most flexibility in college,
yeah.
right? Cam Ward shows to be like a power, power QB almost at that point. Like sort of like um Anthony Richardson, I would say. Shadur Sanders, I feel like, is a lot like Tua Tagovailoa, but Jackson Dart might be the best one out of this draft class.
Yep.
Also, Matthew Golden, wide receiver out of UT, Hook'em Horns, officially ran a 4.29, fastest time amongst all wide receivers in the 2025 class at 5'11", 191. So he's going to be that prototypical deep threat
Yeah.
target for a lot of,
Oh, wow.
yeah.
Breaking news from the I mean, guys, I know we're going haywire with combine stuff, but this is big. Arizona wide receiver Techeora McMillan is skipping the combine workout and the 40-yard dash.
I thought he had an unofficial one of like 4.47 or something like that.
I don't know, man.
Alrighty. All right. So for me, for the Packers, I think there are a couple things that we should target. Definitely. One, we need to shore up, like you guys, that edge position. Because Gary and LVN have not been successful this year to the caliber that we were hoping them to be. Kenny Clark was also pretty lackluster up the middle.
Yep.
So, when you have scenarios where Kingsley Enagbare is outproducing LVN and Gary at times, we're going to need to go and get an edge rusher, whether it's in the draft or whether it is more likely in by signing or trading for someone. So I think my dream targets like you would be Myles Garrett or Max Crosby, but like we said, it's probably going to be unlikely since it requires at least 2 firsts. And I don't think the Packers are going to give up their first this year, at least because it's being held in Green Bay for the first time, right, in a long time. So I don't really think we're going to target any of those. But I think what's more likely is we'll probably get those like 3 or 4. We'll probably target those 3 or 4 players who have had 10, 11, 12 sacks in the past 2 seasons. So those would be Dae Odeingbo, who is a rotational pass rusher for the Colts, quietly has had like 12 sacks per season, I think, over the past 2 seasons. Azeez Ojulari, who's been pretty good for the Giants, but he's been inconsistent. Like they haven't really figured out how to use him. I think he could be a good edge 2 behind Gary. and kind of mentor LVN. Chase Young could be a good option, but also Harold Landry, who's had like 12, 10, 9 sacks, especially this year on a lackluster Titans. He was probably their main pass rush producer, and it wouldn't have to be very expensive, right? You would probably be trading maybe a 5th-round pick for Harold Landry, and you sign him for like a 2-3 year deal. So I think that that's probably a more likely scenario, and then we draft an edge rusher in either round 2 or 3. Or if one of the good ones are still left in round 1, I think, if Shamar Stewart somehow falls to 23, I think he's going to be the pick for the Packers, for Goody at least. So
if I will say this, if you guys do not take Shamar Stewart, you know damn well Howie Roseman is going to try and take it. But
exactly.
if it's between Shamar Stewart and Jahad Campbell, it's like you cannot go wrong with either.
Exactly. Another thing is sign wide receiver. So the Eagles game clearly showed that we need a wide receiver one, and especially since Jaden Reed is a really, really good slot receiver and wide receiver 2. I think his ceiling could be a wide receiver 1, but he hasn't really shown that yet consistently. Though he's had some phenomenal games, I don't think he is someone like T. Higgins, who's going to be a wide receiver 1. So the dream is to sign T. Higgins, but that's going to be highly unlikely. So I think likely is going to be Chris Godwin. Mm-hmm. We might be able to sign him for like a 2-3 year contract, and then draft another player in the second round, someone like Elika Umanor, who's a big like I think like 6'3" or 6'4", 220 pounds, and he just had a really good combine as well, 40-yard dash. So he might be another target that we could have, or Jaden Higgins, who had a really good target at 6'4". He ran a 4.4, 4, I think, or 4.42. So that was a really good 40-yard dash for him. So that might be a target at 23 maybe, or later in the second round. Or there is that trade rumor. There is the rumor that the Packers are interested in DK Metcalf, but for first round pick and for either Romeo Doubs or Dontavian Wicks, which I don't think is likely to go through, especially if, depending on what Deebo Samuel and Brandon Ayuk get. I don't think DK Metcalf is going for a first round pick. I think he probably goes for a second round pick in a player, but DK Metcalf is 28. Also, he's on his last year of his contract. So that means we would have to sign a new contract for him. So I don't think he's going to be traded for a first round pick, maybe a second and a player. So we'll see. But most likely scenario for wide receivers, we might be able to sign one in free agency and then draft another one probably at 23 or trade up in the second round like we did with Christian Watson.
Yeah.
And then last but not least, sign or draft corner. So corner is a legitimate need now. With a lot of our corners hitting free agency, our top corners would probably be Keyshawn Nixon and Carrington Valentine. Now, Carrington Valentine is a really good cover corner. He's not CB1.
Right.
He's not CB1. So, especially with what we don't know, especially with what's going to happen with Jair, whether or not we release him or keep him, what we're doing with Eric Stokes, who's also a free agent this year, it might be the scenario where it might just be Keyshawn Nixon, Carrington Valentine, Javon Bullard as our corners. We would need a starting corner fast. Now, luckily for us, we have a lot of good targets in the draft, and we have a really, really strong man cover corner available in free agency. And we just saw last year that Goody is not shy of signing young, talented free agents, right? By getting Xavier McKinney, we might be able to sign DJ Reed, who was a fantastic option as a CB2 opposite of Ahmad Sauce Gardner for the Jets. that could be a good target for us. I think a more likely target than any of the edge or wide receiver targets that has been cooking up on Packers Twitter. I think the more likely target is we sign DJ Reed and we keep our options open at 23, whether or not we get an edge or another corner or wide receiver. We might go, I don't think we're going to go offensive line, but Goody loves to do this, right? He loves to sign free agents and then keep things open in the draft. So I think signing DJ Reed would be a godsend because that would relegate Keyshawn Nixon to be either slot corner or outside corner, depending on the scheme variation, and Carrington Valentine to be the opposing starting corner, outside corner.
Yeah.
So I think they would probably sign DJ Reed, restructure Jair, or restructure Jair. That would be the dream. But likely, I think is we draft one at 23. Hopefully, I think we draft Jade Barron, hook him out of UT, because he is my draft crush. Like
Jade Barron?
Jade Barron, man. If you look at him, his versatility is really, really good. He can be.
Oh, you know who would be? I kind of forgot who else I wanted for a safety. If he's still available, Andrew Makuba.
Yes, I think he'll be available in the second or third round. I think that should be one of your targets. But he reminds me more of like, he's like a downhill. He's not your typical cover safety. He's more of a
so a younger CJGJ then.
Basically, he's more that. I mean, he's 5'11", 186, right? But he is more of a downhill, run focused safety. He is pretty decent in zone coverages, but that would not be like his major specialty.
Yeah.
So yeah, but he is light, so that is something. He does have that hit stick mentality. So that is a bonus.
All
right. Yeah, that's pretty much it for us. If you guys have enjoyed, please leave us a review at one of the 4 podcast platforms that we host our podcasts on: Apple, Google, Spotify, and Pocket Casts. Or Dakshak?
You can find us on YouTube, so make sure you like, share, subscribe, all that fun stuff. And we're also on the following social media platforms: Twitter/X, Instagram, and Threads. I don't know about Blue Sky. That's just too much. I don't know if I can handle all. But anyway, Twitter/X, Instagram, and Threads. At NFL Masala 2022. That is at NFL Masala 2022.
And we're gonna hit you guys with our signature outro. Go Pack, go!
And we all we got. We all we need. Fly, Eagles, fly on the road to victory. Fight, Eagles, fight. Score a touchdown, 1, 2, 3. Because they hit them low, hit them high, and watch our Eagles fly and beat the shit out of the Kansas City Chiefs by putting belt to ass and Jalen Hurts as your Super Bowl MVP. Fly, Eagles, fly on the road to victory and the Super Bowl. E-A-G-L-E-S, Eagles. Take care and have a good night.